Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your favorite YouTuber, Between the Game Sports, back with another great video. And I thought this was important to talk about. The news came out yesterday, and I was waiting to see the numbers, right? Waiting to see the numbers because I was one of those guys last year, if y'all remember correctly. I was one of those guys who was steadily advocating for folks to stay with the movement, to stay with the HBCU football movement, even though Coach Deion Sanders was leaving to go to Colorado. That's a whole nother story. But I was waiting to see the final numbers if people decided to stay with the movement. And from what I can tell and the things that I've been looking at, the swac game between Jackson State and South Carolina State, which was a thrashing put on by Jackson State against South Carolina State Bulldogs, the numbers still show that there is very, very high interest of what's going on in HBCU football. And I was very, very excited to see those numbers. It was almost a million, right, through ABC, not including the many channels across various platforms talking about the game. There are a lot of folks listening to streamers talk about it. So I'm just gonna say that it was definitely over 1 million views. And I've seen somebody else post about it saying that there was in fact over 1 million, but from the numbers that I've seen on a consistent basis, that it was only just a little bit under 1 million. It was 900,022, something of that nature. Let's see, yes, 922,000 viewers on ABC per the ratings report from Sports Media Watch. So that's pretty good, coming in only second to the game between Navy and Notre Dame. And we all know how much college football loves Notre Dame for some reason, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not a big Notre Dame fan. I don't ever want to see them in another college football playoffs. But back to this game, Jackson State versus South Carolina State. A lot of folks were concerned that there weren't going to be the same type of interest that it was the prior year with Coach Deion Sanders at Jackson State. Now, this game right here, as you can see, blew the doors off of last year's swac challenge game, the swac challenge game between Alabama State and Howard, which was only 485,000 viewers. So basically doubling up on what was that of last year. So the interest is still there. Jackson State fans are still showing up and showing out. So I was excited to see. But again, I was one of the guys from last year. Excuse me, my allergies are god awful in the morning. But I was one of those guys from last year who was consistently saying, just because Deion Sanders is leaving, don't be that type of fan who is now going to forget about HBCU football. Don't be that type of person. And y'all can go back to my videos between December and January of early 2023 and December of 2022. I was one of those guys who saying, just because he's gone, don't forget about the movement that has been started. And so from the looks of it, it looked like it's still going. So here's a interesting tidbit to this. The Jackson State versus Southern championship game last year. And that game only produced, let me make sure I'm right. I don't want to go off on anything like that, be totally incorrect. Let me make sure I'm right. That game only produced, let's see. I want to say 309,000. I'm sorry, 391,000. 391,000. That game only produced 391,000 viewership. Now, albeit, I believe this was week 0, right? Week 0. Nobody else is playing in that time slot this past Saturday, which was Jackson State versus South Carolina State. Nobody else is playing in that time slot, I believe. A lot of folks is waiting on college football to get started. A lot of folks is waiting on HBCU football to get started. And there were a lot of folks waiting to see if T.C. Taylor and his coaching staff could produce the same way that Coach Deion Sanders and his coaching staff produced. And from the looks of it, by the views and by the numbers, folks are still highly interested. Folks are still waiting to see what Jackson State, if they can lose a SWAC game. So if you're looking at the numbers, especially from last year's Southern versus Jackson State SWAC championship game, it triples that almost. It triples that. And again, you got to weigh in the factors of being week 0. Nobody else is playing in that time slot. It's the first couple of games that's on TV. People are waiting on college football. So you got to factor in that. But that's a triple, basically tripled. And what was viewed in from last year's SWAC championship game and this SWAC MEAC challenge game in 2023. So I'm excited. I'm excited, as other folks you should be too as well. You should be happy that the views are still there. You should be happy that folks are still interested in what's going on in HBCU football, because and trust me, there are a lot of folks who did leave. If we're going to keep it a buck, if we're going to be honest, there are a lot of folks who went with Coach Deion Sanders to Colorado, which is nothing wrong with that. Y'all seen it on YouTube, especially all the YouTube folks, and I appreciate all the views early on. Y'all know, y'all seen those folks all those Colorado football channels that came out of nowhere on YouTube. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not hating. Go out there and do your thing, get your bread. So there are a lot of folks who left with Coach Deion Sanders. But I'm happy to say that by the numbers and what I've seen doing the research over the last couple of days, the viewership is still high, the interest is still high. So I wanted to get on here and just talk about that, the importance of that still happening, the importance of fans still having interest. Because the more interest you have, the networks are going to continue to notice. And so they're going to continue to put these games on television and in prime time slot when nobody else is playing. You're not going to be on ESPN 4 or 5, whatever the case may be. Although I think the AD, Dr. Charles McClellan, said that they actually got better views on ESPN Plus last year than playing on ESPN. So, you got to take the good with the bad, weigh it with a grain of salt, all that good stuff. So I just wanted to say the importance of this, and I hope y'all continue to get out there and support and watch not just Jackson State, not just South Carolina State. There are multiple teams out there who, deserves your praise and your interest. So stick with it. I salute everyone. I'm glad what I said last year might have held some weight to some folks. I'm not an important figure, but some folks might say that I was able to help out a little bit because I was one of the guys saying to continue to support, continue to watch, to continue to go to these games. So, and that's it, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the movement continuously going on, the growth, the interest. Also, y'all let me know what y'all think about this video. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like it. Go find us on any social media platform. I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I appreciate y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned because we're back. BTGS is back. Don't y'all forget that, man. One of the best to do it. So y'all know what I do when I leave these things. On your best day, be better. Think about it. Between the Game Sports, I'm out. Peace.